Starting the recording. 1, 2, 1, 2, test 1, 2, 3. I wanted to make a new video regarding this game called Shooter Shout. Uh, if you're new or you haven't seen any of the previous videos, this project has been going for ages, basically 50 billion iterations. It was the one indie dream I was trying to make and trying to publish on Steam. But I guess I just kept losing my direction regarding this game. So I decided to rebuild it from the ground up and actually turn it into a portfolio piece because I would like to work in game design someday. And the number one tip I always hear is just to build games, just to build a portfolio, and then people can review your games and your portfolio. So I was like, you know what? I don't really want this idea to go to waste because I still really like it. But maybe for now, I'm not going to build it into this enormous indie project and make it the next big thing because that's just silly. So I thought it's way more useful to turn it into a portfolio piece. Anyway, of course, like every indie game on planet Earth, this was first made on itch.io for a game jam. And the theme was Stronger Together. I had barely any experience. I was like using Unity for like 1 month maybe. So I was really struggling to come up with an idea that I was able to make. And I landed in this really weird idea where you have this shooter dude, sorry, and he shoots zombies in the original game. And you have this guy who is a clown. We just don't have the sprite right now. And he can use a megaphone to taunt the enemies and they will turn around. But he doesn't have a weapon. So these two need to work together and taunt the enemies and survive. That was the base idea. And I was like, okay, that fits the theme. That's fairly unique, I would say. So started to build on it. Anyway, that's the base concept of this game right now. And slowly it just turned into kind of a roguelite. I don't know. I'm not sure how. I was just like, it would be so cool to have power-ups and like change waves when you reach a certain high score and stuff like that. And one guy on Discord said that, oh, so it's like a roguelite. And I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, it's like a roguelite. Yeah, actually. So it slowly fell into that genre, I would say. And I just wanted to show what's up with this game currently. So you're controlling these two characters at the same time. They are moving exactly the same way. One of them can shoot, the shooter, with W, and the other character can shout and taunt the enemies with Q. The enemies will spawn from the middle and we'll have hordes of enemies trying to kill us. Um, Let me just demonstrate how the game works. I need to set another enemy because I was just having this enemy type for testing purposes. Also, the numbers are not really like fixed or anything yet. I'm really just trying to make it work. Also, I have no idea what this is, but I will figure it out eventually. So let's game. We have 3 waves currently, and each wave has different enemies or patterns. This is the first wave. As you can see, the enemies are coming. We have a number. This is hard to commentate. We have a number said enemies to kill. And once you kill all those enemies, we can progress to the next wave. And we also have civilians. They are protected by the gray walls on the left and the right. And once the enemies go past, okay, this is a great uh, situation because now I can explain. So these walls have health, and when an enemy collides with it, it loses health. Later, the wall gets destroyed, and we have civilians behind our players. And once the enemies start to cross those lines, they will kill the civilians. And when the civilians die, it's game over. Or if we are getting hit enough, it's also game over. The reason I wanted to make this is because it became a legit tax to just not confront the enemy and just avoid them and let them go through. So that's why I came up with this civilians idea. But at the same time, that was like insanely difficult. So I wanted to pull up a wall behind here, and I wanted one here to the front because the way the game works is when you shout with this dude, the enemies turn towards him and they will chase him for a fixed amount of time. Oh, sorry, I got a phone. 1 second. How do I stop this? Where is it? Oh, right, I'm back. Where was I? Right. So I needed these walls because the way this works is that when the shouter shouts and taunts all the enemies, they are running towards him for a set amount of time. They cannot turn around. I don't know, it's like 5 seconds right now. Maybe it will change. But the point is that he was getting overwhelmed so easily that I either made the spawn rate way smaller, which I think just kind of made it less fun, or I added a wall, which I believe works a little bit better. Maybe it should be like, if I really want to like make it not realistic, but just make it more sense. Maybe it's not gonna be like a solid wall like glass or anything. Maybe it's gonna be like a fence instead, because it's kind of nonsense that the megaphone sound can travel through it. But anyway, this is just something silly. So anyway, um, we have these mechanics, and once you beat the wave, see we have enemies to kill 0. A chest appears. You need to shoot it 3 times. Obviously, we don't have yet like anything visual going on. But once you hit it 3 times, it explodes, and we're gonna have power-ups here. Obviously, I would like to make like 50 billion of them, at least. But for now, I only have like 3, and none of them are functional yet. This is more like to just show what the overall idea is. Uh, for some reason, I landed in these on these arts. For some reason, I went for uh, animals. The way it works is, in my mind at least, is that I wanted to give something to both of them, obviously, so I can make them way more interesting. Um, Also, after a while, you just won't be able to progress any further. So I really wanted to give some cool power-ups to them. And one of the first one was like, okay, from the previous version, we had like the freezing shout, where the shouter could freeze all the enemies and slow them down with a massive shout. And I was like, okay, that's cool. But what if it's, I don't know, a little bit less generic? I wanted something that's a little bit more. Usually we have ice and freeze, and I know it works. It's like bread and butter, really good. But I, usually I try to come up with ideas is that I try to aim towards less generic things, or maybe even silly and nonsense things first. It's just my style. I just like to apply less filter to my ideas. So I was like, okay, what if we use mud or something like that? Maybe the shouter could spit mud or something. And I immediately remembered like Naruto, you know, how the third Hokage, for example, can just puke mud all over the place, or later even Jiraiya with the toad oil, you know. So I was like, okay, maybe that's a cool idea, and I was like, let's name it like Toad Art, you know. And then I came up with all these different arts, like Piranha Art, Octo Art. Of course, the name can change again, but this is the general idea. And once you pick this power up, I want the shouter to be able to, probably not for every shout, that would be ridiculous, but maybe you could like activate the skill every, I don't know, half a minute or something, where the shouter's head just turns into a toad. And then if you press shout, uh, it can just create a mud field, you know, just puke mud all over this entire level. And the mud can stay for however long we want it, 5 to 10 seconds or something. And that would massively slow down the enemies for a while. So that is one of the ideas. I just wanted to talk about it a little bit. We have these arts. I don't know if I'm gonna keep the name or not, but I think it's fun. It's just it feels a tiny bit different, you know, at least to me. So you pick one of the power-ups and hopefully it works because I don't remember if I tested this. So you click it, you unlock it, and the next wave appears. These are the bone jugglers. They are ranged enemies. And I wanted to, introduce only them for this wave. I feel like maybe it's better for the player to not get overwhelmed with new stuff constantly. So this is like an introduction to them. Once you do this, chest appears again. Um, one more thing I would like to implement later on, probably, not sure when, probably next month I'm gonna have the time for it. But what I want to do is make like doors here at the top and the bottom after you pick your power up. And later, I don't want to overscope this. I would like to have some variation with the rooms, because I feel like you can only do so much with this vertical movement. There's nothing else you can do. Previous version, you could also dash, but that's as far as it goes. So I want to make different rooms. I don't know how that would look yet. Maybe there's gonna be like a perfect circle, and you can just move completely around, but that would mean that the mechanics wouldn't work in the same way. So I don't know yet. I don't know yet how that would work, but I have room variety as a plan, as a potential plan. Um, and that's how the power-up system is going to work. You get the chest, you unlock a power-up, and you move to the next room, and the next wave starts. That will be the the core loop, really, if it works out. Maybe I'm gonna remove the room change. We will see if it's really needed or not. So anyway, we move on. I have one more wave currently, which is nothing special. I think it's just both enemies at the same time. And I plan to make more waves because I have quite a lot of enemies from the previous version already created, and I think they work really well. And I also have like a boss I would like to implement, and that would be the base of it, really. And that's the whole game. Oh, also, I forgot. I would like to make permanent upgrades, a couple of them, because obviously once you die, you start from wave one again. So I want just a few, maybe also three for this portfolio piece. I don't know, maybe more damage, maybe more health, something permanent that can really just give a little bit of a nudge to help players. Anyway, we go to the last wave. And I think this is going to mix the two type, which I'm not sure yet. Obviously, as I said, the numbers are not balanced yet, so the shooting cooldown, the spawning cooldown, the movement speeds, I'm not sure yet how it's going to work. Oh, I'm actually, that was close. I forgot that the wall health is already low because of the previous waves. I actually forgot that. One thing that, and this just had one health for some reason. Anyway, uh, one challenge I might face is having a good readable UI that can communicate everything we need. Because if you check it, I removed the wave uh, text already. So it only appears when we start because it was just overwhelming already with 3 pieces of text because just the game field is just too big, you know? And but I also need to signal somehow the health of the walls and the health of the players too. So I'm not entirely sure yet how I'm going to signal it. Maybe they will only appear when they are taking damage. That's one thing I can think of. But I really don't know. I really don't know yet. I'm curious though why the last one only had one health, but oh, I think I know because I'm not setting the health. I'm actually the way it works is that I'm not spawning a chest really. The chest already exists and I just make it appear. And once you shoot it 3 times, it just disappears. So obviously the health stays the same. So I think what's gonna happen is that I shoot it once and it's going to appear again. That's right, yeah, because I'm not setting the health back every time, which I should. I didn't want to spawn stuff. Um, I was like, the game is fairly tiny. I don't think it hurts it that I have a couple of things hidden and then shown again. I don't think I necessarily have to spawn and destroy everything in this game. So that's all there is to it so far. As I said, I still want to implement the permanent upgrades, and obviously I want to make these like run upgrades or run power-ups functional because they are not doing anything yet. So that's about it. This is where the game is currently. Bye.